So I spent 30 grand on a 35 horsepower tractor when I'd never actually driven one before. I'd driven lots of plant and loads of different vehicles, but never an actual tractor. And how hard can it be, right? Well, turns out it's not as easy as you'd think, and it can be expensive when you get it wrong. Now, last week I explained why I bought an import tractor, but then it sort of occurred to me that there were a few things that I didn't know about driving a tractor when I got it, and things I sort of wish I knew and understood before I really started getting into some real work, and it probably would have saved me a lot of time and a lot of effort and energy and a few bucks. So I've put together a list of 5 things that I think are probably quite important to know about these import, very basic tractors that could probably help save you a bit of time and money. And then I've got a little bonus tip at the end that will help you get the absolute most driving years out of your tractor regardless. So stick around for that. So let's get on with it. The first thing I want to explain is the double clutch. Now, on a car, you just push your clutch in and pull it out, and there is a bite point in between. But on a tractor, as you push it in halfway, the motor and the gears will disengage and go a bit further, and the PTO disengages too. Why do these bite points matter? Well, drop the clutch out on your PTO a bit too quick, you might snap it if something heavy is on the back. Or if you drop the clutch on your gears, the tractor could lurch forward and potentially hurt somebody. For those who don't know, obviously the clutch is kind of the handshake between you and the engine, and kind of get it wrong and, well, it's pretty awkward. So learning what's specific to your machine and where the bite points are for each can help you get to grips with your tractor a little bit quicker and probably save you money in damage bills. Now here's where it can get a little bit busy. You've got your gear selection forwards and backwards, and then your high and low range down here, and then just behind your foot we've got your 2 and 4 wheel drive, and then just in this bottom corner down here we've got our diff lock PTO, and then we've got our PTO speed here. So there's a lot of things going on. You've of course got your hydraulic levers down next to your seat as well, which lift and lower the hitch arms, as well as anything else you want to connect on the back. So with everything going on, of course it can be a bit confusing. There's only a few simple things to remember: low range for work, high range for getting there, and of course if you're on flat ground, 2-wheel drive is ample enough. You don't need 4-wheel drive because you don't need the extra grip. And then of course your diff lock is to lock the differential, as the power will only go to the freest spinning wheel, the wheel with least resistance. And so by locking your differential, it essentially spins both of them. Just remember to turn it off when you're back on solid ground. Now I managed to explain all that in under 60 seconds, so it's not overly complicated, but I think they are definitely things well worth knowing when you're getting behind the wheel. Well, now we're down to the business end, the PTO, the power takeoff, and that essentially makes whatever arm that sticks out the back that connects to your slasher or your auger or whatever, is what makes it spin. And obviously you engage it much like you would regular gears with a sort of lower rev, and then you bring it up to speed. But it's also useful to remember that that thing spinning can be extremely dangerous, and you don't want to mess around with it. So you want to stay clear when it's working, because if it breaks, this thing does the work of 3 men, and if you fall into it, it will do the work of 3 men that you owe a lot of money to. So be very careful, because you could lose an arm. So we've covered that this end of the tractor has a bit of power. How much power? Well, of course, that depends on the size of your tractor, which means you can't just go sticking any old thing on the back of it. Are you serious? What a dick. Which means that you can't just go sticking any old thing on the back of it. And of course you need to pay attention to the speed at which it's meant to spin as well. You might hear people tell you that if a slasher says you run it at 540, it's okay to turn it to 720. Just letting you know, it's really not, because at that speed, if something were to come loose, it's not built to contain it. And if one of those blades drops off at that sort of speed, it will definitely do some damage, like serious damage. Well, now we've covered the PTO, it's time to cover the hitch arms, the other thing that makes all this work. Now, a 3-point hitch is obviously your 2 bottom arms and your top spreader link, and there are your 3 points. And essentially, this is how you lift and lower things off the back, and it can be very powerful. This thing weighs 600 kilos and it picks it up very well, but ours also has downward rams which allow it to push things down, such as, say, a pipe layer or perhaps an auger, which is very useful if that's the sort of thing that you need to do. This thing has got it covered.
Night shift cutie at the truck stop knows my name. Threw the candle in the midnight oil and lit up the honky-tonk highway. I see the sun come up, cause I ain't been to bed. Gonna have my name cut into a stone when I lay my...
Now it's time to get to arguably the most important feature of the hitch, and that is the float function. And I don't mean it's going to make your tractor fly. The float function locks the hydraulic valves open, allowing the oil to flow freely in both directions, allowing the hitch arms to move up and down freely, meaning that it will follow the contours of the land as you drag whatever across it, be it a slasher or a rake or something. It essentially means that the arms aren't locked in position, meaning you don't end up slapping your slasher on the ground as you try and cross over rough ground, cutting your grass. This essentially means that it stays on the ground as you drag it along. Fun fact, this was something I did not know for a little while when I first got my tractor, and it was someone who told me about this function when I couldn't figure out why the slasher wouldn't work. So this one's a good one, because I've seen other people not know how to use this function, and it got me. So this one is one of my favorites. Now, depending on what you stick on the back, you're going to need to adjust these. These turnbuckles here are used to level the arms and make sure that they're both sat at the same height, or if you don't need them at the same height, you can adjust them so they're off. Either way, once you're done setting them, put the lock nuts back. And the same goes for the sideways motion of the arm as well. They have a different type of adjustable turnbuckle at the bottom. Now, it's really important you set this right, otherwise the implement will start swinging on the back and eventually you're going to break something back here, which is not good because these parts are not going to be easy to replace. Before we get into the front loader, I just want to say, if you're enjoying this video and you're not subscribed, please consider subscribing, because we post a new video every week. There's always something half built or half broken, so it's worth checking out. Now, just like the back, the front has a lot of utility, especially if you get one with a 4-in-1 bucket, because it means you can change the 4-in-1 bucket and put all sorts of other cool things on the front, like grapplers and other such shenanigans, because these are very versatile. But you have to know your limits. When this thing is full or you're carrying something heavy, always keep it low to the ground and don't lift heavy things up high, because that's how you're going to tip your tractor over. Think of it as center of gravity. If you were holding something heavy above your head and you started walking over uneven ground, do you think you'd drop it or at least fall over? Because I know I definitely would. It would be funny to watch too. As covered last week, this thing is safe load limited to 300 kilos, although it has been tested to 450. Now, you can pick up things that are marginally heavier than that, but I will say this: err on the side of caution, because you definitely need a heavy counterweight at the back. You need your low range gears, and of course, please don't lift anything high and don't do anything stupid, because as we know, you play stupid games, you win stupid prizes. So make good choices and just be really sensible with it if you are going to go beyond that limit, and know that you probably might break your tractor at some point if you do it too far. Well, now it's time for my bonus tip, my secret sauce. And this will help you get the absolute maximum driving years out of your tractor by the longest shot. Probably the most important tip, I would say. Whether all this stuff is new to you or not, before you do any job or lift anything heavy or move things somewhere, make a plan. What are you doing? What are you picking up? Where are you taking it? And where are you landing it again? Having this simple plan and assessing your route and ensuring that you're actually going to be able to go where you want to go is quite important to avoiding mistakes. Now, mistakes can happen, and this is just the nature of the business, but doing a few simple things that maybe take 1 or 2 minutes to avoid many serious mistakes, you could either hurt somebody, damage a building, damage your tractor, or something else. And this is where the whole longevity thing comes in, because to get the absolute most driving years out of your tractor, you need to be breathing and able to do it. So make good choices before you do any big job. Just assess your situation and know what you're going to do, and those involved know what you're going to do too. That way everyone goes home safe, and that's my secret sauce. So there we have it. We have the double clutch, the gears, the PTO, the hitch with the float function, and of course the front loader. My 5 little nuggets of knowledge, and then of course my little bonus tip, my secret sauce there on top. Just work safe, be smart, and plan your job. So thanks very much for watching. Tune in next week, because Danny and I have got a really good one for you about homesteading as a young family. So don't forget to subscribe and make sure you don't miss it. So thanks very much for watching, and catch you all next week. See you around.